We are finally getting down to the nitty and gritty. Welcome, my friends, to the talk of the Eldritch Channeler. This is a weird tower, to say the least. It's a magic damage tower that does grouped-ish magic damage. And I say grouped-ish because you really need to get it to a high level to be useful here, which is also a kind of weird fact of life for a lot of these towers. It's like they're really useless until you get them up to 4th tier with an ability. So you really have to spam it up, get it up high. You don't want to use it as low tier, almost ever. Any which way, according to this, the magic is ridiculously high, the cooldown is very, very long, and they have a fairly short-ish range. They've got 2 skills here, the Power Overflow, which is the main aspect of this tower. Magic Ray extends over 3 enemies, dealing 25, 50, and 75% of the total magic damage to each target. And then we got the Mutation Hex, which turns an enemy into a sheep, and the sheep has 50% of the target's health. So we're basically just having the health of an enemy for a little while and letting them not attack so we can kill them, right? So let's jump into a game here. Let's show him off. Oh, wrong map. I've picked this map like 30 times by now. You think I would be pretty good at it, but I guess not. So base cost-wise, it's pretty expensive. It says 34 to 34 damage, so it's very, very extremely consistent. No RNG involved at all, but that 34 to 34, that 84 to 84, by the way, look at the price, man. That 154 to 154, and the ridiculous 261 to 261 here is all going to be based off of his entire attack here. So if you're ever wondering, like, it doesn't feel like he's doing 261 damage per second or whatnot, it's because he's not. He's doing 261 damage per an entire channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block these guys off so we can see it in action. This entire channel right now is going to do 261 damage. Boom, done. That was the 261 damage right there. Again, super consistent. You can always tell exactly how many times it's going to attack to make this happen here. And then against single targets, this is fine. This is very, very, very fine. But if you ever have more than one unit coming out against you, this thing is actually pretty freaking terrible until you get the Power Overflow 1, the Power Overflow 2, and the Power Overflow 3 to get 75% of that damage to be shared between all of the different things here. It's weird. It's really weird. It's actually not the most powerful tower in the game if you actually get down and get down to the actual math of how much damage we're doing to these guys. There are towers that do more damage in general because we don't have any really good group damage. Now, keep in mind, this is 4 units total. This is not 3 plus 3 plus 3. This is not 10 units total by the end of this. This is 4 total no matter what. Another that can be a little bit confusing because it says 3 additional enemies, 3 additional enemies, 3 additional enemies. Every single ability is not correct. So you're only going to see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's just a thing. Obviously, people can heal up over time as well on top of it, so if they ever have any healing or things like that, they can just go blah, just make this thing freaking worthless here. And then we've got the Mutation Hex. So the Mutation Hex is probably one of the more interesting upgrades here if you use it on a nice, strong enemy. But basically what we're doing is we're limiting its health to half. So it went from 210 to 105, and that means that if we do it to a strong enemy, it's going to be more effective than doing it to a weak enemy, basically. Taking a 3,000 health enemy down to 1,500 so we can kill it easier is going to be much more effective. But it happens pretty often. That's one cool thing about it. Happens pretty often, which I definitely like. It's pretty cheap. You know, it's not a ridiculous amount of money or anything like that. So if I'm going to buy this guy, like, I totally am cool with the cheap upgrade. But oftentimes, I just skip it because I'm just like, I kind of need to go for another Eldritch Channeler with more overflow, right? Unless I'm dealing with a bunch of really strong units, then it makes a lot more sense for us to get it. It's definitely expensive across the board, and because it's useless as a 1st tier, 2nd tier, 3rd tier, and even a 4th tier without that last overflow, I tend to think he's a little less awesome than I would have enjoyed. He's not bad in any way, shape, or form, but I honestly feel like he is outclassed by a lot of the other towers in a lot of the situations. Okay, you might be upset with me because you're like, but this is the last tower, and he's totally the coolest looking and everything. Like, yeah, okay, fair enough. He is pretty cool looking. It's pretty awesome to see a giant red laser shooting out against guys. But as far as actual damage output, I feel like a lot of the towers, with their grouped damage, they can do more than 4 attacks at once, are often going to be a little bit better. Either which way, though, we still got to give him a pretty solid rating because in no way, shape, or form is this guy bad. He has a lot of weird, cool use cases, like against the final boss here, so got to give him some cred for that. So I'm going to give him a very solid and wonderful 8. I think 8 is fair for the Eldritch Channeler. Again, there's a lot of other towers out there that are probably better or just outclass him by a little bit. And I feel like it's very one-side oriented. You just kind of just build him when he does damage, and you got to hope that he does a good enough job with a little bit of stalling. That's really about it. But any which way, if you guys disagree with me completely, and he's a 10 out of freaking 10, best tower ever, or he's just straight up garbage because he's outclassed by pretty much everybody else, let me know in the comments below what you think. If you agree with me, feel free to press the like button, feel free to subscribe, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.